Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, everybody, for attending our first Zoom news conference. Hopefully it goes well. I want to start by just introducing the other people who will be speaking at the news conference. I will have some brief introductory comments, and then we'll hear from the others. And then, as Nicole said, once all the speaking is done, we will take questions from you either by the Q&A or raising your hand. With that, let me introduce all the others. Nicole, are we in gallery view?
You are, yep.
Okay. So after my comments, you will hear from Sonia Dio, who is an ACLU cooperating attorney and the lead attorney in this lawsuit. After that, you will hear from Georgie J. Vogel-Rosen, who is a second ACLU cooperating attorney working on the suit with Sonia. And then last, you will hear from Michael Clark, who is the plaintiff in this lawsuit. So we're here this morning to announce the filing of a federal lawsuit on behalf of Michael Clark, who was a black recruit in the 2019 Police Academy and who was involuntarily dismissed just a few weeks before graduation and after enduring months of harassment from trainers at the academy. The harassment was incessant, humiliating, and retaliatory. We argue in this lawsuit that it was based on his race, based on racial stereotypes, and based particularly on his exercise of First Amendment rights, specifically in response to some Christian rap songs he had written and posted on social media a year before he attended the academy. Because those songs made reference to black men being killed by police and called on God's help, the training academy instructors singled Mr. Clark out for constant mistreatment. You'll momentarily hear more from our attorneys and from Mr. Clark about the harassment he was subjected to. Across the country, as you all know, in response to the George Floyd killing and a string of other deaths of young black men at the hands of police, there's a growing recognition of the need for significant police reform. What makes Mr. Clark's experience at the academy particularly disconcerting is that by witnessing how he was mistreated, all the recruits there were inculcated by the training officers in a set of very troubling values that rely on racial stereotypes and intimidation, and that wrongly attempt to justify retaliation against any officer who might recognize the very real concerns of the black community about their treatment by law enforcement. With that, I'm going to ask Sonia to give a little more detail about what the lawsuit is all about. Sonia?
Sure, thanks, Steve. I am incredibly proud to be representing Michael Clark in this case against the Providence Police Department and many of its officers. In the complaint, we cite numerous instances of racial behavior. For example, on the first day my client attended the academy, he was told he didn't belong in the academy and viciously taunted for a rap song that he wrote and produced, in which he stated that the cops shouldn't shoot blacks and asked for God's help. He was told that because of this song, it was obvious that he hated all cops and didn't belong there. This couldn't have been further from the truth, and exactly why Mr. Clark was seeking to become a cop to begin with. Thereafter, he was humiliated when a durag was thrown at him. He put it on his head at their command, and then was told to rap his song. These actions alone are a disgrace, but when he endured thereafter and how he was treated was far different from any other recruit. When he simply wouldn't quit, they fired him. It wouldn't let him pass the last 2 weeks of the academy. It's simply astounding to me that the members of the academy went as far as they did to keep my client from becoming a Providence cop, which was one of the things he wanted to do to help serve his community, one that he's been involved with since he was born here in Rhode Island. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Georgie Vogel-Rosen, Georgi, V as in Victor, OGEL-ROSEN. I'm going to be talking a bit about our case as it relates to the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects police academy recruits like Mr. Clark from being discharged from the academy on the basis of the recruit's past constitutionally protected speech. It's important to note here that Mr. Clark never in any way called for violence against the police. He did not say he hated the police. He was merely speaking out, or more specifically, rapping about highly publicized instances of police brutality. Certainly that's a matter of public concern. And part of the rep, as Ms. Dio said, also was about the need for unity and his faith in God. This was not a man who was advocating violence against the police. In fact, this is a man who wanted to be a police officer. That being said, he was not a police recruit at the time he made these Christian rap videos, and he certainly was not speaking out as a potential recruit. Public employees, such as police recruits, do not give up all of their First Amendment rights as a condition of working for the government, in this case, the police department. And our government certainly does not require public employees to retroactively give up their rights to constitutionally protected speech that they made before even being hired. So this is why Mr. Clark was alleging not only that he was discriminated against because he was Black, but also that his First Amendment rights were violated. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Clark. I just want to give a brief introduction about myself. Growing up in Providence, Rhode Island, spent my entire life here. Did some really good things in the community. I'm from Providence. I graduated from LaSalle Academy, a really great school, and then I also graduated from Johnson & Wales, where I studied criminal justice and where I found where I really wanted to be a Providence police officer, and found that I would be best fit to help the community and just give back to the community that that I love, that I grew up in, and that's why I wanted to be a Providence police officer, because I love the city and because I've always done well in the city.
Okay, before we take any questions, Sonia, do you want to just briefly explain what the lawsuit is seeking on Mr. Clark's behalf?
I'm sure. In this matter, we're seeking a number of different remedies, including additional training for the members of the individuals that were in my client's academy class. We are seeking that the discriminatory practices of the Providence Police within the academy be stopped. He's looking for compensatory damages. Obviously, because of the suit, my client lost a position that he was very qualified to do. And we're looking for punitive damages because these actions were taken by individuals directly against Mr. Clark.
Thanks, Sonia. With that, those are the basic facts of the case. You, as Nicole said, you all should have received a news release which provides a little more detail about the lawsuit and about some of the experiences that Mr. Clark had while he was at the academy. At this time, we're open for questions from any of the media.
Steve, would you like to take a look at the participants panel? We have raised hands from both Brian Amaral and Amanda Milgratz.
Okay, Brian, do you want to start with the first question?
Brian, you're unmuted.
Hi, Michael. Are you still interested in becoming a Providence police officer or police officer in general, even after this experience?
Am I still interested, you asked?
Yeah, are you still going to try to pursue a career in law enforcement even after this experience?
Not for Providence, no. And at this point, I'm unsure, because the experience that I had to endure was very, very brutal. It was very tough. And that's not the only reason why I would second guess it. Well, I also saw how the police academy is ran. I saw the constant racism, the constant favoritism treatment that goes on in the tactics. I don't think I would be a part of something like that, especially having endured being the focal point of racism and persecution. I just don't think I would want to be a part of that at this point in time.
And the music video that you made that was sort of central to the original thing that, your first day they mentioned it, is that still available online somewhere? Where could we find that and see it? Is that still up?
It's no longer online. It's no longer online. I was told by the academy that I needed to get rid of every video that I've ever made. They also pushed for me to get rid of social media altogether. So it's no longer online.
If Mr. Clark wants to share that, I can certainly get back with you and get that to you, but I'd have to speak with him about that.
All right, next question, Amanda.
Amanda, you're unmuted.
Thank you. I was going to ask the same question about the rap song, whether that was available. If you have the video or the lyrics, I'd be interested in that. The other question I have is that was a very diverse academy. Were there any other recruits who you saw who also were targets of racism or the humiliation, the same that you endured, Mr. Clark?
No, I didn't find anyone else that they targeted. From day one, they made it very clear that they were going to, and in fact, did try to humiliate me, try to make me quit. They told me, you're not supposed to be here, you don't belong here. They singled me out in every area for every day that I was there. In so many different ways. I'm not going into specifics, but no, I was the focal point of racism and discrimination.
And that was solely, do you believe that was solely because of the rap song?
That was the biggest part. They my first day, they put a durag on me, they asked me to incite rap lyrics. They said rap, you're not supposed to be here. And they brought up the video and later on in the academy, they posted the video, and while we were sitting there, and he humiliated me that way and said, "See, he doesn't belong here. He thinks cops are killing all black men," which is, in fact, is furthest from the truth. The video is clear. It's a video trying to unite, trying to bridge the gap between discrimination and bringing blacks and cops together, and that's what the song was for.
Did you write the song? Did this come after the killing of Michael Brown? Is that the timing of the song?
Yeah, Eric Gardner, Brown, all that, all the incidents, and being a spiritual man and being someone who wanted to be a police officer, it was hitting me heavy. Black Lives Matter. I'm a black man, so I wanted, I was trying to cry out to God, bridge the gap. Can we come together? Because these are both two parts of me.
Can you I don't want to ask you to perform it, and I don't know if we'll see the video, but can you repeat some of the lyrics from your song?
Let's hold off until Sonia has been able to talk with Michael about this. I don't want a performance here. That's sort of what that's sort of what he went through at the account. I understand the question, Amanda, but we'll postpone that for now.
Yeah, I just want to kind of make it explicit exactly what he was saying in the song, and it's rather than paraphrase, have it said. Is one other thing, Mr. Clark, was there anything else that they were targeting you for because you endured many weeks of this academy before you finally left?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
Sorry. Was there anything else that they targeted you? It wasn't just the song. Were there other things that they said that they were criticizing you for during the rest of the academy?
I went through 5 months of the academy, 2 weeks before graduation. I imagine they thought I was an outgoing black man, based on based on the music video, the song. So any instance where I was, vocal or like a leader in a way, trying to help others pass, pushing them, I did very well in the academics and the physical part of the academy. They would shut me down right away. They would make sure that other recruits stayed away from me and didn't basically wanted to make me the negative guy and don't go near him, or you'll be in trouble, They really wanted me to be isolated and looked at as a negative guy, which was furthest from the truth. So,
one thing I'll mention to everybody, with the news release, there should be a link to the lawsuit itself, and that also goes into a little more detail about some of the experiences that Mr. Clark had while he was there. So I'd encourage you to take a look at the lawsuit itself for more information. Next, Sophia Rudin.
Sorry, Steve. Actually, it's Pat Ford's up next. I'm going to let him talk right now.
Sorry.
You're using an older version of Zoom, Pat. Let's promote you to panelist for a sec. Is that not okay? We know who you are. Pat Ford, can you type your question?
While he's doing that, why don't we move on to Sophia?
Sounds good. Sophia, you're up.
Hi, Mr. Clark, I'm wondering, it sounds like a lot of that harassment was from the trainers at the academy. I'm wondering how you were treated by fellow recruits.
Well, when it first happened, recruits, they sort of flocked to me. We were all good friends. It was a brotherhood at first. We pushed each other. They saw that I was one of the leaders in that area, so I really pushed a lot of the recruits to get through. The same thing with me, they pushed me. But as the academy went on, it was sort of as the training officers wanted to paint a picture of me that he doesn't like police officers constantly showing videos and constantly calling me out and having me. They wanted me to recite my lyrics and other things, other tactics to paint a picture that I wasn't supposed to be there. So as the time went on, a lot of the recruits turned away from me and didn't want anything to do with me. They figured if they were planning an advocate for me, that they wouldn't have success in the academy, which I don't blame them. You have to have a job also.
Yeah, again, that is something. If you look at the complaint, there are various allegations about how the training instructors tried to turn the recruits against Mr. Clark, and again, you'll find details.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
There was an incident where one of my best friends from the academy, what we grew to be best friends in that academy, they called him into the office and asked him to basically write a report saying that I did something, and when he refused, he had to face some consequences. He was singled out for that week for standing up for me and not lying. I don't want to say his name, but he was a recruit. He was one of my better friends. And when he decided to, just stick to himself and other recruits and leave me alone, that's when they accepted him. And so it was a lot of that. And you had to make your decision whether you were going to be on my side or whether you were going to be with the instructor.
Okay, I think
Hey, Pat, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No worries. Mr. Clark, question for you. You mentioned that you're a man of God. Did you ever feel like your religious beliefs were put in question, or were they criticized as part of your training experience?
Many times. Many times because many times there were instances where I would be told to go to the front of the class. This would last probably an hour, questioning about what happened over the weekend and my personal life. And when I didn't get it completely accurate, a lot of things go on in a course of 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And when I didn't get it completely accurate, they would call me a liar. See, he's a liar. He can't be a man of God if he's lying, stuff like that. So yeah.
And I guess, this is happening at a time when obviously racial politics are at a crossroad nationally and here in Rhode Island. Have you become involved with, say, groups like ProvX or any of the other folks who are active in raising awareness on racial discrimination?
I haven't, no. My first assignment is a minister, so I pretty much, when it comes to the church scene, I'm all the way in the church scene, for different churches, ministering and preaching and singing in the church. So that's my call. And, I haven't really gotten involved in anything like that. I haven't had the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, Nicole? Anybody else?
Not that I can see. Let me double check. Again, if you have a question, please either raise your hand or type it into the Q&A box. And I don't see any questions in the Q&A box or any raised hands at this time.
Well, in that case, I want to thank everybody for joining in this news conference. Again, I encourage you, you can look at the news release, go on our website and read through the copy of the complaint, which, as I've mentioned a few times, has a lot more details about Mr. Clark's experiences at the Academy. If you have any further questions, feel free to follow up with us. Thanks very much for joining, and if the panelists can hold on, we'll see if we can keep you here for a minute. But thanks everybody for listening in.
Thank you.